My first taste of freedom underwater and the start of 200 plus scuba dives coming right up in this Speak Up video. Hi, my name's Yang. I'm the speaker coach here at Speaking Volumes, and today we've got another defining moment. This Speak Up challenge is all about the defining moments in my life, the lessons that I've learned from them, and hopefully you can take something from them as well. So if you like these sort of videos, like it, share it with your friends, subscribe to my channel. Today, it is all about scuba diving and my first scuba diving experience. I did my scuba diving course in Bali, Indonesia in December 2012. And this was my first trip outside of China and Australia, my first trip overseas besides those two countries. And I had 2 weeks off and I did the PADI open water course. And there's 2 companies that offer scuba diving certifications, PADI, which is like the Google of the underwater world, and SSI. I've done a course with SSI as well, but all my courses have been certified by PADI. And this resort was no different. I went to Atlantis Scuba Diving Resort. It was a fun experience. It was amazing. I loved it so much. I learned to ride a scooter in Bali. Never ridden a scooter before. I rode it to Talamben, which is a small seaside town where we did our scuba dives. It was just fascinating learning about getting into the gear, learning about the different parts of the gear, the science behind diving, the dangers, learning to do equipment checks and learning how to remove your mask and put your mask back and clear your regulator. There's all sorts of skills that I learned during the course, and we did it in a swimming pool. And then when we were ready, we did a couple of dives in the ocean. So this was in Talamben when we did the open water dives. And where we did it, the shore is all pebbles. It's all rocks. You typically think of a beach as sand. I remind myself that, some beaches are just rocks and pebbles. And I remember that in Europe, there's a lot of beaches that are just rocks. So this was no different. Some of these pebbles are, massive. And I remember carrying all this scuba diving equipment on your back and the tank and your fins. So the sun was super hot, and I remember getting was I going to get heat stroke or something? It was super hot. And then just walking in the water was really cold. It felt cold because it was hot outside. And so there's a huge temperature change going from really hot to cool water. You kind of adjust and your body regulates once you get into the water. And I think we only had probably 3 to 5 mils as the thickness of the wetsuit. In Melbourne, you definitely need a 7 mil wetsuit. And so we went into the water and it was the most amazing experience. And for me, I am a terrible swimmer. Above water, I'm not great. The only thing I can do is backstroke and doggy paddle. I don't know how to do freestyle very well or breaststroke. Underwater, I am very good underwater. Even treading water is a challenge for me. For me, I just sink in the water. I can't float naturally. I have to put effort into floating. So going into the water, it was the most amazing experience. The sense of freedom of just the expanse of the ocean in front of you, just pure nothingness, and not being able to see very far. I mean, the most you could see is 10, 40 meters depending on the visibility. And so there is a huge sense of, wow, it's so peaceful here, and you're weightless. It feels like you're in space because you're just floating. And you control whether you go up and down by how much you breathe into your regulator and your BCD. And you can't really speak to anyone underwater. If you've got your regulator on, you can't really talk with your regulator on. Even if you got it off, it's really hard to speak. So no one's talking to each other. Everyone's using hand signals. This means no air. This is how much air do you have in your tank? We learn hand signals to communicate. So it is very peaceful. And there's so much aquatic life as well, depending on where you're doing it. Where we did in Bali, there was a lot of fish, and it was fascinating to swim with the fish. There was a shipwreck very close to the shore, which is very rare to do shipwreck dives from a shore. Usually you have to take a boat and take the boat far out and then find the shipwreck. But here it's very fascinating to just do a shipwreck from the shore. And it is very calming to have your whole body being kind of weightless Because coming into the water, you've got so much equipment, and then when you're in the water, you feel nothing. You don't even feel your equipment. There is no weight on it. So this moment being a cloud-breaking moment, it helped me soar like I've never soared before. Just the feeling of exploration and freedom, and it ignited my passion for traveling more and exploring the underwater world more, because most of the ocean is unexplored. Most people have not been underwater and seen the world under there. And even if you have been to a dive site, it's always going to change. You go there one day, the next day it's going to look different. And also you enjoy the moment. When you're underwater, you're not thinking about the past or the future. You're there, present in the moment. You're experiencing what it's like to be under there. For me, I was chewing hard on my regulator. I had sore jaws at the end of dives because I was like holding on to the regulator for dear life. I did not want the regulator to fall out of my mouth and not be able to breathe underwater. So I made sure I was chewing on that regulator. And also, funnily enough, I have never snorkeled before scuba diving. So I scuba dived before I snorkeled. That's a fun fact. And yeah, no one cares about how much money you make. All that is gone when you're underwater. So my lesson for this defining moment is that sometimes in life, it's okay to just float around, to relax, to rejuvenate, to take life easy. Sometimes I forget that and I need to remind myself this lesson. Take it easy, don't work so much. It's okay to float around, just do nothing. And with scuba diving, try it. Try different activities, see what you like. Maybe scuba diving is for you, and try and find more activities that you enjoy doing. For me, I love scuba diving. I've done 225 dives now in 7 countries, and I went all the way up to Dive Master. So I did my PADI open water, advanced, rescue diver, emergency first response, and my Dive Master. I got my Dive Master manual here. Let me know in the comments below, have you dived before? What's your favorite dive location? And where would you like to dive in the future if you are looking to dive? Let me know in the comments below. There are more Speak Up videos coming up. Brilliant. I get my flights paid for, I have accommodation and food paid for, I get a car rental paid for as well. So I get everything paid for, and I'll see you on the next video.